Welcome. We're thrilled to have you here today for a webinar that's going to be practical, fun, and packed with resources to help your children develop their language skill. Let's start with a quick introduction so you know what to expect, and most importantly, to understand why these strategies are essential for improve communication with your child. Why are we here? Because we know every child has a unique path, and in the case of children with autism, that path can be particularly special. Communication development for children with autism often requires a different approach, but that doesn't mean it has to be complicated or boring. Here, at the Beacon Method, we've created strategies that are friendly, accessible, and of course, filled with music. We know many of you have tried various approaches and methods and may feel that progress is slow or sometimes non-existent. But here's the good news. Communication can improve, and often it just takes a fresh approach that really captures your kids' attention. This webinar is from parents, professionals, and educators who want something practical and easy to apply from the start. How we do this with the Beacon Method? We combine two powerful tools, music therapy and video modeling. Don't worry, you don't need to be singers or tech experts. Our catchy songs have that covered. With music, we tap into the natural appeal it has for children, and with video modeling, we offer little ones clear and repetitive examples so they can imitate and learn at their own pace. It's a combination that's not only effective, but also keeps them motivated and enjoying the process. Through the webinar, we'll share practical tips, strategies, and examples that you can apply at home, in the classroom, or during therapy sessions. Our goal is for you to live with this feeling, equip it with simple tools that you can easily put into action and start seeing your children explore their voices and communication. So get ready, because the good stuff is about to begin. Understanding the communication profile of children with autism. Let's start by understanding the typical communication profile in children with autism. Every child is unique, but there are common patterns that can help us understand how they learn and communicate. Here are some of the most frequent challenges. Social interaction. Children with autism often face challenges in social interaction. They might struggle to start or maintaining a conversation, avoid eye contact, or seem uninterested in interactions. This doesn't mean they don't care. It's just that their way of interpreting and responding to this situation is different. For many, body language and facial expressions can be confusing, and they need guidance to understand how to use them. Verbal and non-verbal communication. It's common for children with autism to have difficulty both expressing their thoughts and interpreting others' gestures. For instance, they may not use gestures like pointing or nodding in the same way as other children. They often rely more on words than on facial expression or tone of voice, which can make their interaction seem less natural or spontaneous. Understanding and using language. Some children have a limited vocabulary, while others can speak fluently, but do so in a repetitive way or without clear communicative intent. Sometimes this appears as echolalia, where they repeat words or phrases without a specific purpose in the conversation. Examples of common challenges: difficulty expressing needs or wants, which can lead to frustration or even behavior issues, problems using functional language, meaning they might not understand that language in a tool for interacting with others, not just for repeating, lack of interest in topics that don't match their personal interest, which can limit interaction with others. These challenges can make social interaction and communication feel less natural. However, this is where practical strategies like those well discussed today can make a big difference. With the VICON method, we aim to provide tools that help them practice and develop communication in an accessible and fun way. Let's see how. Introducing the 6 practical strategies. Now let's dive into 6 practical strategies that can really make a difference in helping children develop language and communication skills. The great thing about these strategies is that they can be used at home, in the classroom, or during therapy sessions. Let's start with music as a tool for stimulating language. Music is universal and captures attention, making it a powerful learning tool for children with autism. Using songs with repetitive phrases, like the classic "The Wheels on the Bus," allows children to become familiar with certain sounds and words through repetition. And it's not just about listening, it's about pairing sounds with actions. When we associate specific sounds with simple actions, like clapping or waving, we're connecting verbal and non-verbal cues. And don't forget rhythms. Short and rhythm phrases help improve pronunciation and speech flow in a fun and accessible way. Our second strategy is video modeling, which is ideal for visual learning. Video modeling lets children watch and then imitate behaviors and language in a structured way. Imagine a video that clearly demonstrates actions or words, like simply looking or pointing. By breaking down these actions into small, repetitive steps, the child can watch each part, understand it, and then try it themselves. Including facial expressions and gestures in videos is also key, as it helps children interpret and use both verbal and non-verbal language, giving them a clear model to follow. The third strategy is positive reinforcement and motivation, which are essential elements. Keeping children motivated is fundamental for continued learning. To support this, we offer immediate rewards, praise, applause, or visual tokens every time the child attempts or succeeds in expressing themselves verbally. Reinforcement can also be natural, like receiving what they verbally request, so the child sees language as purposeful. If we tailor activities to their personal interest, incorporating favorite toys or characters, we increase motivation, making learning even more engaging. The fourth strategy is using visual aids, like prompts or cards. These tools help children understand steps better and reinforce language. Visual supports like pictograms or cards are very helpful for representing words or actions, making it easier to understand and express needs. A visual schedule, where each daily activity is represented by an image, lets children anticipate what's coming next, giving them a greater sense of security. It's essential to introduce these supports gradually in a different context, helping children associate each image with the corresponding action. Our fifth strategy is practicing turn-taking and waiting, which are fundamental for interaction. Turn-taking games are a great resource here. Games like rock, paper, scissors, or passing a ball back and forth help teach the concept of waiting and respecting timings in communication. We can also use objects that visually indicate who's next in a game or activity so the child knows when it's their turn. Additionally, modeling turn-taking language by showing how to ask and wait with simple phrases like your turn or my turn helps them internalize these interactions practically. Finally, the sixth strategy involves adapting the environment to encourage language development. Making a small adjustment in the settings can create more opportunities for spontaneous language use. For instance, we can create dedicated communication areas with visual and auditory supports both at home and in the classroom. Keeping visual aids like pictograms or cards accessible and at the child's level in key places like the kitchen, the bathroom, or classroom encourages language use. Involving them in daily routines is also helpful. We can encourage them to communicate by asking for their dinner plate or pointing to the materials they need for a task. These 6 strategies don't just enhance communication, they make learning feel natural and enjoyable for the child. Together, they help create a rich, stimulating environment where children can experience language in a way that's accessible, engaging, and most importantly, fun. Implementing strategies in daily life. Now we are at the most practical part. How to integrate these strategies into daily routines so it doesn't feel like an extra burden. The idea is that language development shouldn't be an additional task, but rather a natural part of the child's day, whether at home, at school, or during therapy sessions. Let's explore how to make this simple and effective. First, let's take advantage of daily routines. Every regular activities can turn into a communication opportunity, but the key is to take it feel effortless. Mealtime, for instance, is a perfect time to practice language by asking the child to point to what they want or try saying the name of a food before receiving it. The same goes for getting dressed. We can ask them to name or point to a piece of clothing before putting it on. These little moments, which are already part of the day, give us a chance to practice language in a natural and meaningful way. Repetition is also essential, but it's about using it wisely. Repeating this strategy consistently, such as singing the same song each morning or using the same visual supports in the classroom, allows the child to practice without it feeling like extra work. The idea is for these repetitions to be part of the daily structure, reinforcing language and communication almost effortlessly. We can also use low-effort, high-impact activities. These are activities that don't require much preparation but have great benefits. One example is imitating games. Inviting the child to imitate gestures, sounds, or words anytime during a walk or a break in class is a natural way to practice communication. Group turn-taking games, like passing a ball, are so helpful for practicing patience and turn-taking, two key skills in social interaction. Another simple but effective method is to give them small communication tasks. Asking the child to deliver a short message to a family member, teacher, or therapist helps them practice language in real situations. These tasks feel natural and at the same time reinforce the value of language in communication. It's essential to adapt the strategies to a specific context where they're used. At home, we can create mini routines that involve the child in household activities, like preparing a snack or putting toys away. Visual supports or songs can help encourage their participation in each step. In the classroom, using visual cards or group activities allows children to practice language collectively, fostering learning in a social setting. In therapy, we can design specific activities that can then be repeated at home or in school, reinforcing learning across different environments. Finally, let's talk about consistency and flexibility, two things that should go hand in hand. Consistency is key for children to anticipate what will happen, but it's also important to stay flexible. If a strategy isn't working one day, that's okay. We can adapt or try a different approach. The main thing is for the child to feel that learning is part of their day, not a difficult or frustrating task. And remember the power of positive reinforcement. Every little step forward is worth celebrating. These small achievements, no matter how minor they may seem, are essential. Keeping a positive and motivating approach is what truly makes this strategy become part of their everyday life, contributing effectively to their communication development. As we wrap up, let's summarize the key points from this webinar and provide a few ideas on how to keep applying these strategies daily. Today, we cover 6 practical strategies to support language development in children with autism. Music as a tool for motivation and language stimulation. Video modeling to make visual learning easier. Positive reinforcement to keep children motivated. Visual supports that make communication more accessible and clear. Practicing turn-taking, essential for social interaction. Adapting the environment, creating opportunities for communication in daily routines. Now, it's time to start putting these strategies into practice consistently within your own routines. Here are some recommendations. Start with 1 or 2 strategies and add more gradually to avoid feeling overwhelmed. Be consistent with daily application. Repetition is key to help children internalize learning. Find natural moments to practice, like during play or simple tasks, so the child sees it as a natural part of daily life. We encourage you to continue exploring the Beacon method, content, and resource, where you'll find additional materials and activities that support your child's communication development and learning. We're here to support you every step of the way, providing fresh ideas and tools each month. Throughout the month, we'll be sharing additional resources and training capsules to help you dive deeper into each strategy. Be sure to check out our content and stay connected if you have any questions or comments. Thank you for joining this webinar and for giving your children the opportunity to grow and learn with love and passion. We hope you feel inspired and ready to apply these strategies, and we're excited to see how they will help your children progress in language development. See you in the next one.